Hi guys, welcome in. I just thought I would come on here and talk a little bit about how to actually create an extraordinary relationship. And we're often, with all of the content that there is about relationships, I think we forget that the answer is within you. And instead of looking for more information, like actually, what are the real steps? Maybe instead of like taking in more information, you should practice on what you've learned, um, or take a course that actually tells you the step process that you actually need to do. I thought I would do this video because it's so important to get to know yourself before getting into a relationship. Hi, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. The setup, it's different because I'm getting ready and just wanted to do my makeup and talk to you meanwhile. Hi, Gumbu. So instead of taking in more information, instead of following some rule book, actually get to know yourself. Know what you want, what type of lifestyle that you want. Let's instead of let's talk about why people get into bad relationships. Maybe because they get knocked up early. Maybe because they're intoxicated and they think they've met the love of their life when really they haven't put a lot of conscious thought into what it is that they want. And instead of, looking inward, figuring out the type of life that they want, they just enjoy, the opposite sex giving that type of external validation, that type of attention, that type of, oh my God, like I feel so good because this guy's giving me the attention, and vice versa. Hello. Welcome in. Let me know if you have any questions about, dating, about creating an extraordinary relationship, because that's the subject that we're touching. Once I'm done with the thoughts and the things that I have to say, I'll get to your questions. Hello, Caris. Hello. Yes, just write them in, and then I'll continue telling you what I think about creating an extraordinary relationship instead of outsourcing this type of validation. And I would say we outsource this type of validation, especially in their 20s, but to give that external validation an age, it would be very limiting, because some people just don't really know their worth. They don't really know how to give themselves love, so they need to outsource it. And who am I to judge that? Like, we all enjoy, being admired by someone. So it goes beyond the question of superficiality. I can't say that word, but it goes beyond that superficial question. It goes more like, oh, I need this attention because maybe I didn't receive it when I was younger. Does that make sense? How can someone like myself date a girl like you? I'm engaged. Thank you so much. I think if you're a man, I think you should put yourself in the right situation. I think you should ask the girl that you like out. I think that you should, be driven about what type of job you have, because essentially, what's the end goal? Relationship, to have a family, like someone that you truly connect with. One second. Hello from Greece. I love Greece. There is nothing wrong with you asking that question, because I think men should really forget about rejection and like be fine with getting rejected. Like, I don't rejection is harsh. Maybe I think you're gonna get rejection. Like, it's like saying, are you really gonna take no for an answer? Like, I will never take no for an answer if I really want something. And I'm a woman, so I expect my partner to be super driven, and if he wants something, like, go on and get it, no matter how hard is a no. And I'm not saying like try to push yourself against someone, but do not let a no um degrade your confidence. Nothing goes wrong with rejection. That's how it goes. There's more fish in the ocean. 1000%. There's so many people, like, yeah. Johan says, rejection depresses me. I'm sorry you feel that way. um I mean, this video is it's towards the ladies who are having a hard time getting the man that they truly desire, getting the man that she truly wants, and she keeps on repeating the same patterns, and she's not able to see that it's not the guy, it's actually her. Like, she is the problem. She's the one attracting. She's the one attracting the wrong man. Or maybe that's not the problem, but like, she's not being intentional what she really wants. And when you're intentional and you write down what you actually want, you send out a clear message to the universe that you are ready to receive that. And then what happens? And essentially, when you send out that message, when you send out that signal that you're ready, you the universe will test you and put you a wonderful man in your path. And then maybe you don't like really initiate or are attracted by him because he is not familiar. And that's when you need to work the inside. You need to work with your personality, with your foundation, with what type of patterns you're carrying. Maybe you need this type of chemistry, and it's not really chemistry. It's something that you learned in the past that wasn't really stable. Don't Even Trip says, but there is also a limit you push. Don't get me wrong, I'm no quitter, but I'm not going beyond the starts for someone who doesn't want to make a life if she isn't the one. Yes, 1000%. That's when you yourself have the answer. Like, for me to advise you in a relationship I don't know about, it's useless, because you have the answer within you. And you know when maybe you sense that she doesn't even like you, but then when I have like thoughts um, limiting thoughts that I'm also like, oh, is this really my intuition? Like, I love to question what those thoughts are, because you have to question if that's your gut or your intuition talking to you, or if she's really the person that you say she is, you know? You have to put into perspective both the thought, is that reality happening, or is that a limiting belief, you know? Johan says, so you're saying it's different for the ladies than for the gentlemen? Yes, 1000%. It's completely different. Um, Completely different. In terms of dating, mhm, yeah. Gumbo says, we believe in our tradition that love is not knowing each other, but loving each other without any condition. That's lovely. And if it, I can see that, I could see that, you know, being something good in some traditions. But then, you know, if there are so many more things that you have to put into perspective, like lifestyle. Like if you're talking about someone who is just going to stay in the same place, like she doesn't want to travel, like there's so many things to put into perspective than to just accepting each other, because at the end of the day you want to be with someone that accepts you. So yeah, thank you for that, Fidosa. Johan says, what I hate are player guys who have different women every week. Why do you hate it? Like, don't even put an energy into that. Like, why even care about that type of man? Like, I don't think he's being fulfilled in any way. So, like, don't ever compare yourself to someone else. Hello, Rixar, welcome in. Don't even trip says, damn girl, your future husband is a lucky man. Well, spoken woman and her confidence is beyond lucky, lucky man. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. My name is Greta. Let's see. Hello, Jason. I don't have a twin, I'm sorry. I don't have a twin, but I do believe you have a girl out there for you. Where's Hansel? That's funny. I'm from, like, do you mean where I live? I live in Florida. Thinking of having my two wives live together with me instead of living in their own home. Should I disrupt this dynamic or keep it? just rather have all my children live with me, but what do you think? So let me get this straight. You have two wives, and each wife has your children. I think I'm not sure how to respond to that question. Are you gonna have just rather have all my children living with me, but what do you think? Are you gonna have time to take care of the children? How many children are there? I think like do whatever works best for you, but then are you like, do you want your children because you want more control? Johan says, do you believe in giving up after rejection for a guy? Like, what do you mean for, it depends. With a woman or for your job, or like for like getting a business to get an investor. I think I don't believe in giving up. I do believe you have to walk an aligned path, and there's an aligned path for everyone. So I think when things don't work out, it's for a reason that we may not see right then. But then if you continue, you know, I don't know, I'm talking about business right now, you continue to have this drive for the business, I think maybe, you know, look at what's working and what's not working. But if it's for a woman, I think that depends. You have the answer. I don't think like I don't believe in giving up. So what does that even mean? What are you referring to? Jason says, I'm in Texas. Thank you for joining me. Gombu says, yes, of course, we're living in the 21st century in modern era and science of science and technology. But don't you think that we're living in a fake world? No. Like, no, I'm so happy with the world that we're living in. It's I mean, there are many pros and cons to everything. So I'd like to look at the bright side of things and then focus on that. Because it doesn't serve us, and it doesn't serve us to look only to the bad or what we don't no longer have, and comparing to the past, like what can you learn from it? If anything, like I would like to take what like the good things and then move forward. Like it doesn't serve you to think about the bad things and comparing the present to the past, other than to learn from it. Yes, I also believe in giving up after rejection. I mean, it depends, you know, if you have a connection with the girl and she's rejected you many times, like no, there's so many sea in the water. But if you already have a connection, something happened, and then you could fix it, or that's what I mean. Like, if you can fix it, you know, don't give up. If you already have a connection, if not, move on. Hello, Ernest. don't know what I just did. Oh man. Um, okay, bye. Thank you for joining me. I really mean, what are you saying according to your understanding? I understand. Oh, okay, you guys are talking to each other. Um, oh yeah, this person says to believe in God, and I think I recommend that to like my clients, and I have a section. Not I don't like to put a word, but essentially all religions have similar teachings, and what my point is to like surrender. When you're able to surrender and like ask for guidance, the message is stronger, and you can like you can actually receive kind of messages. I'm not a doctor, first of all. How's your world? When I say connection, I mean you have a relationship already with a woman and you made a mistake. If you have done nothing wrong, move on. So that was what I was trying to say. But for the ladies out there watching this, don't let your past fool you. Essentially, your past and your present they're all happening at the same time. Why? Because your decisions are based off your past experiences, and we tend to project out what we've lived. So if something bad has happened to us, we tend to project it out in dating. And if you've had, you know, an absent father, if you had a bad past in relationships, you're going to project out that fear, that anxiety. So you have to work on that. And if you're ready for that, you know, sign up on the course on creating extraordinary relationships, which is so good right now. Right now we have 3 chapters, but the library is going to continue exploding and growing, essentially, of course. Also, another thing that I should mention, look, if you are a woman and you just are starting to date multiple people at the same time, so you know what your options are. You know, genuinely be interested in getting to know the other person. When you're able to know the other person, you can actually make an informed decision on on the type of partner that we want, because sometimes we're like, oh, we want this type of man, and then essentially they come and they show a certain characteristic that doesn't really go with us, and then you kind of like could go back and reassess the values that you truly want. So it's all about trial, error, updating. Johan says, there was a guy who gave me a same day dating advice. He called it multiple plates. I don't, what does that mean? Multiple plates? Like to date around? I mean, I could say the same thing about men. If you want a wife, date multiple women and see what's your best option. This is, I mean, some advice that I say and some things that have worked for me, yes, they're for women, but like for men, get to know multiple women. Do not, I mean, I don't recommend being intimate with someone because that's like, I don't know, something special, but get to know like women so you actually make also an informed decision what type of woman you want as your wife. So yeah. You're talking about dating like it's a chess match. I mean, if you want a conscious, stable relationship, I think from having toxic relationships to having a stable one, I think for women like that, it is a chess match because they have to learn a lot about themselves. Greeting, Camilla? Is that Camilla? I know it's Camilla. Greetings from New York. Yes, girl, welcome in. I also think a man needs to be focused, and whenever his drive is focused on his work, there's not a lot of time left. So, but it depends. It varies from for people. Gumbo says stable relationships comes with transparency, not with multiple dating. I have to agree to disagree. I disagree with that, but I think to each their own. And if it doesn't work for you, I understand. Some people like dating one person at a time, and I'm like, who am I to judge? Yes, do your thing. Yeah, I think so too. Some people might be more traditional than others, and okay, there's space for everyone. Pleasure to connect with you. Knowledge is power, yes, 1000%. Hello, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. Tony says, I'm a long distance truck driver and make good. My wife left because of my job. I didn't care less problems now. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, Tony. Now you kind of like what lesson can be learned from your previous marriage. I think now you need to be with someone that understands that your time and your work life takes a lot of your time. So getting into a relationship with someone that knows what they're getting themselves into won't be a problem with you as much. But just like I said before, I really think there is a perfect someone for you, and if you want to go through it, I mean, I'm just suggesting. Where am I from? I'm from Peru, but I live in Florida. I mean, I was born in Peru, but I've been living in the United States since I was 10 years old. I was living in New York first, and then I moved to Florida. Hello, Monica. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. We spoke a lot about relationships and what you need to create in order to attract that aligned partner. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you can go back, and watch in your own time. Like Tony sharing his experience in his marriage is the perfect example why you have to be very clear on what you do and what type of lifestyle you want. I don't think anybody gets married to essentially get divorced. So if you have, everything that's going to take, like the time for your job, you have to let your partner know that. So then you're able to understand each other, Like he's a perfect example of like, maybe he didn't know what he was getting himself into. Johan says, I was never married, but I was very serious with a girl. She essentially left because I worked and never took a vacation. I relate to Tony. It's, what's W? I don't understand that. Less worries now. Okay, I can see why you relate to him, but that's like a limiting truth. Like that doesn't necessarily have to keep you away from someone from a relationship that you want. Like if that girl wasn't for you, she's at the end of the day, that doesn't matter, but you learned from that experience. So you need someone who can understand you, who accepts you for your job, the job that you have, the providing abilities that you have, everything. And essentially the woman is always going to want more, always. And that's when you can expand, and when she's able to love you and accept you, but also hold this space for you to want and expand more. And yeah. It wasn't intentional. I'm not a spider girl. Hello, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. Looks like my thing is dirty. I don't make challenge videos, but I should. If you want to send me something that I should do, send it to me. Jumanji says, hi, just coming into the chat. Let me just say that relationship is time, commitment, and effort from both. 1000%. Yes. Nothing in life is easily obtained, and if it is, it's not lasting. Or maybe if it is, you get to learn the struggle later on. Oh, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I believe in a monogamous relationship right now. But there are people who think differently, and there, just like I said, there's space for everyone. So I don't know what people say that, but like I don't know about that, the Matrix. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, I think if you want a big family, you're gonna need to have resources. If you don't want a big family, if you wanna just live with animals and everything that you want. I mean, I like animals, but I also like commodity. I would love to have a big family. So I think you took the wrong example that I said. I didn't mean polyamorous. I would never I would never encourage women to be intimate with someone if they're not serious. What I mean, rotational dating is a concept when you actually get to meet the other person and really get to know the other person. How? By getting to know them, by talking, by having experiences. When you decide that you're gonna be serious with, out of, I don't know, from 4 people that you're dating, I just want to be in one monogamous relationship. So you get to know the other person, so you can have a conscious choice. I would never. It doesn't serve the woman in any way to be, intimate with random people. it doesn't serve them. It's not good. It's like, it's not that it's not good, it lowers their confidence. There's a lot of factors because women tend to get attached easier than men. Yeah, oh, Johan says, ultimately, I think what women do is up to them. I'm not in control of that. I don't need to be. I can just be in control of my own loyalty. Yes. And that's also what I remind women. Like, you cannot control anybody but yourself. You could have boundaries so you can choose for yourself the behaviors you're willing and you're not willing to accept from other people, for example. Duranji says relationships aren't easy, but when you find that person together, your journey, that path, good and bad, then there's no end, just worth 100%. Yeah, I love that. Lots of love from Australia. I thought someone was coming in. Yes, I speak Spanish. Hola, ¿cómo están? ¿Qué quieren que les diga en español? We're talking about relationships. We're talking about... Okay, thank you for joining me. We're talking about relationships, we're talking about boundaries, we're talking about creating and having like an aligned love relationship and what it takes to do that. Je ne parle français. Yes, ask, Demetrix. Hello, Fabio, thank you. Yeah, I think you should get a job. Patience, understanding, and laughter. I think acceptance too. So anyway, if you want to join creating an extraordinary relationship, join the course right now because the price is going to continue going up. Today I'm adding one more um, course for dating, and I'm also noticing a lot of constants. So you'll probably get 2 extra videos this week. And yeah. What type of girl do you consider yourself? Are you a glamorous, materialistic type of girl? What does that even mean? Glamorous. Like, what can you define what that means for you? Materialistic. Like, do I like material things? I mean, doesn't everyone? Glamorous, does that mean do I get ready? What does that mean for you? So Nick Black, I'm not even gonna get into that. Gumbo says something very important that women forget. He says one must cook for them out of love, not duty. I would like to not emphasize the cooking, but whenever we're doing something for a partner, we do them because we get to do that for them. It's not because we have to do it. It's because it's an action that brings fulfillment. It's an action to show the other person that we care for them. So it may not be cooking for it may not be that action of cooking, but it may be something that you want to do for your partner. And some women forget that they don't have to do what they don't want to do. They can simply do whatever they want to do for the other person to show their love for their partner. I think women forget that they have a choice. Tony says, now I own 5 trucks and a small business. Enjoy being single. My wife tried coming back, but I said no. Congratulations on the business. About the wife, it's your choice. And you have your excuses. Hello from Dubai. Hello. Cook and clean. Okay, that's... Dimitri says, when I say glamorous, I'm meaning high end of life. Fancy dinners, the fancy outfits, the nice house, the nice jewelry. I think, well, I love fancy dinners. I love fancy outfits. I love having a nice house. Who doesn't? But it's not like I'm forcing my partner to get that for me today. I know that we will get it at some point. Might not be today or tomorrow or next year. Maybe in a few years, yes. When you say materialistic, glamorous, I think I love getting ready, looking good. And I have to say, yes, I love jewelry. Yeah, so to answer your question, yes, it all fits. Tada says, Christ is the only fulfillment, serve him and serve others in love. I love that. Hello, Patricia. How are you, girl? But what I'm saying is, are you that type or could you settle for less? I think you didn't listen to my answer. I love getting ready, I love looking good. I'm not forcing anybody um, to do that for me. Does that make sense? Like, there are some women who force that out of their partner. I am a glamorous. I believe that I'm glamorous. I'm glad to have you here. We were talking about we were talking about dating. We were talking about, relationships. I'm glad that you have that clarity for yourself. Um, there is nothing a woman cannot delegate. Like, she could delegate all of those things. She could delegate cleaning. She could delegate cooking. She could delegate if she does not like to do that. I enjoy cooking for myself because I know, because it's easy. Like, I find it easy. I do that once a week, and then I have all my meals ready. So it really depends to the woman that you're with. Like, do not put me as an example. It's more of like what type of understanding you have with your partner, so you are both happy together. You don't want to enforce for someone to do something that she doesn't like. If a man worked in construction as a steel fixer, earning a decent paycheck, would you give that guy a chance? I'm not in that situation. Like, I'm already engaged, so to answer that would be um, not right. So, but I would say that there is a person for everyone. I think essentially every person gets their reciprocal. Essentially, every person gets somebody put in their life to learn a lesson. It's usually with relationships because people are unpredictable. So since people are unpredictable, we're not really, we never really know what's the outcome. So to be able to love and to be able to surrender to the situation, to be able to surrender to the greater higher power, it's to trust blindly. To trust blindly, but also being clear on your desired outcome. Essentially, both are aligned. I just had two people that were my first ever boyfriend. I got betrayed, and the second, like, our lives didn't really align. He wanted to live in another country and I didn't want to live in that country. So I needed to think long term. I needed to question myself. Oh, am I willing to stop what I'm building here in the United States and like move and do that all and lose everything that I've built for him? And I didn't want to do that. So lifestyle, the future, really, you have to put into consideration your job, your work, those types of characteristic to have in mind if you want to continue that relationship. Make sense? So, and I had to learn a lot of for the betrayal because I was constantly with my guard up for many years. I never let myself really, put my guard down for love, and I really had to let that down for being alone for such a long time. Learn to trust again. Learn to be not humble. That's not the right word. To, I think, trust. So yeah, once you're able to understand, I don't know why the message, why that says message retracted, but anyway, yeah, I think people who have been betrayed need to work on it a lot. Otherwise, they're going to continue to sense this anxiety when nothing is really happening, instead of projecting out their fears and what they've lived in the past. It actually that this trust that needs to be built you have to live that reality with a partner that shows you a different reality. I'm glad you're getting married because you deserve someone to love you the right way. Thank you so much for your kind words, Braveheart. I think a better way to describe trust is to learn how to quantify something. Like, if you do not know how to trust, you need to define what trust means for you. That's how I was able to rewrite my inability to trust. So that it's something that has happened, or something that I've needed to work on myself for with my fiance, because like, he's great. So you need to be able to quantify. So what does that mean for me? For example, it means that he's honest. So he's honest. It means that he doesn't lie. It means that he's understanding and listens to me. It means that he doesn't give me reasons to doubt you know? And all of these things, and all of these things kind of pile up one another when you're in a relationship, and with time you're able to actually trust and surrender. So yes, I am in love. Well, there's nothing there's nothing I can do to prove that to you. It makes no sense. Hello, Vichua. Hey, Queen of Heaven. May peace be upon you, dear. Good morning. Hello. Thank you. Dimitrix says, all I know is if both parties are not at peace within themselves, then 9 times out of 10, the relationship is gonna be rocky. Yes, Dimitri, but like, there are so many people who are not at peace with themselves. Like, so many. I mean, I think most of the population didn't come from a stable background. You know what I mean? And whenever I say, oh, like, let's fix these patterns that we have, they usually come from a broken background. What do I mean by broken background? The inability to feel seen, heard, and comforted by their own parents. So most of the population come from these types of backgrounds. So we all have wounds that we have to work on to like you said, being peace with ourselves, to learn how to be at peace, to learn what we are needing from the other person so we can give it to ourselves. You said deep trauma needs releasing, but it's not really that deep. It's not that deep. I mean, maybe I might be biased because I know about this subject, so. But yes, it's very scary to look at your wounds. Patricia, if you're still on, let me know how the course is going for you. Too much of thoughts. I know I have a lot of thoughts. That's why I need to like share them with someone. Have a good day too. I don't know who that is. It's trauma the mind, the body, the soul has carried since childhood, right up until adulthood. It's embedded deep into the nervous system, needs to be released for the mind, body, and soul to be at peace. 1000%. That's essentially what I teach step by step. I mean, right now, the end goal of the entire course is to create an extraordinary relationship, but without having this mind, body, soul at peace, you are not able to create that extraordinary relationship. So that's part of the program. I'm like so shocked that you know about this stuff. Not a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of information around nervous system, around mind, body, soul, but like not a lot of people practice it. They are still in their triggers, they're still reacting and suppressing their emotions without really understanding, without, they're bypassing. Yes, they have all of this information, but are you actually progressing with your life? Are you actually changing the route that you're going? Like there's so many information, but not a lot of people practice it. So yes, I have the Instagram. It's my first and last name. I don't know why it says message retracted. I don't know if I have like something on that automatically says that, or maybe you took it back. I don't know. Well, you can 59. You can look for a girl that you that can do that for you, but so pay for someone. I don't know. I send you my warmest regards and a big hug. I send you my regards and thank you so much for joining me, Braveheart. I'm saying you should pay for a cleaning lady if you need a cleaning lady. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. This has been very nice, and I'll hope to see you in the next one. Okay?